This morning in Johannesburg. Xoli, any news at all about this much anticipated meeting? We do know, of course, that Gwede Mantashe in his briefing yesterday did allude to the fact that there could be such a meeting.
Indeed, Dan, you're quite correct. It was during an impromptu press conference that Secretary General Gwede Mantashe held with the media here yesterday after the Constitutional Court judgment. And during that particular briefing, he did state that the top 6 officials of the ANC would convene an urgent meeting during yesterday or during the course of yesterday so that they could discuss the implications of the judgment. Now, subsequent to that, Dan, we then hurriedly wanted to move down to Luthuli House, and as we were literally driving down here, I did speak to an official who I can't name, unfortunately, because they had not been authorized to confirm this on the record, but indications were that the meeting was not going to sit because at the time the only people that were inside Luthuli House were the Secretary General himself, his deputy Jesse Duarte, and the Treasurer Dr. Zweli Mkhize, and that the other 3 officials clearly were not going to make it. And of course, as the night went on, we usually, whenever there is such a meeting, Dan, taking place here, this street gets cordoned off, especially President Street, and you will usually see the motorcade of the president that is usually parked outside, and so there was nothing like that. And of course, this morning there are no signs of such a motorcade, but we'll wait and see whether or not indeed they will descend here.
Well, am I correct to understand that there were also suggestions that that meeting might have taken place at Mahlambandlovu, the president's official residence in Tshwane?
That's right, Dan. That was also the indication from that very same official I spoke to, that the meeting actually, it was quite possible that the meeting would have taken place at the president's official residence, which is Mahlambandlovu in Pretoria. But again, they stressed that indications were that it is not going to sit yesterday, and that the possibility would be that that meeting would take place perhaps today. But we still need confirmation from the party to say that on the record.
What could the ANC possibly really be discussing? What could it do? Because we know that according to its structures, the president of the ANC is elected by a national conference. There are growing calls all around the country, especially from opposition parties, for the president to step aside. So how could the ANC leadership approach this matter at this time?
Well, Dan, the indications have been, or should we say speculation has been, that the top 6 officials meeting, that meeting could then conclude that a special or an urgent meeting of the decision-making structure of the ANC, which is the National Executive Committee meeting, needs to convene. And that particular meeting of the NEC, if it does convene, then that meeting could possibly declare that a special Congress is to sit to see or to try and plot the way forward in as far as the fate of the president is concerned. That is how the process ought to unfold as a result of what you say, Dan, which is that President Jacob Zuma is not just the president of the state, as President Thabo Mbeki was at the time of his removal, but the other implication here now is that he is the head of the ANC, and therefore, as you correctly pointed out, the branches of the ANC are the ones that have got to decide and pronounce on the president's fate.
Thank you very much, Xoli Mgambi, joining us live now from the ANC's head offices, Luthuli House, in the center of Johannesburg. Well, we'll be watching that office very closely today.